President Bush is making the call to deal with the ever-changing environment during his State of the Union speech. Many titans of the industry are already making that move. But does going green, does it make sense for shareholders? Here to weigh in, Tom Borelli, shareholder advocate, director of the Free Enterprise Action Fund, and Jack Robinson, president and portfolio manager of Winslow Management, which oversees the Winslow Green Growth Fund. He joins us from Boston. Let me start with you, Tom. You don't think it's good for shareholders. Why not?
No, at the Free Enterprise Action Fund, we advocate for free market policies in the companies that we own. And many times with these green investments, really politically correct business decisions that actually harm shareholder value. And in fact, sometimes going green means losing green. And we've seen this in a number of very large cap stocks.
Like what?
Well, Ford Motor Company, I mean, William Clay Ford Jr. is the classic. He wanted to be the green CEO, and he planted grass seed on top of one of his manufacturing facilities, but that didn't do a lot for selling cars and trucks.
Let's say you're Jeff Immelt and you sell to countries and companies that want to become cleaner, and you use that as to sell. Well, how is that bad for shareholders?
Well, it can be if it's part of your business decision, but too much of this green investing or green policies are really based on public relations. The key question is it a business decision, or is it as a result of intimidation by outside activists?
Jack Robinson, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear us all right, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. What do you say?
Well, quite the contrary. Going green means green in your pocket. Let's talk about why that's so. It's all about the money. Companies that behave in an environmentally responsible or green manner can reduce their risk. For example, if you don't make asbestos, you don't create problems. If you don't create Superfund sites, you don't own those kinds of risks. And if you don't sell products or services that kill people, that's to your advantage as well. So number one, you reduce your risk. Secondly, you can reduce your costs. Many companies that we talk about here on your show are companies that use a lot of water, for example. Water is a commodity that is no longer what it was once, free. It's dirtier, it's harder to get, it's more expensive. So companies are paying more attention to cleaning the water they use and reusing it, so they're closed looping it. And lastly, perhaps to Tom's point, companies that are thinking about green products and services can enhance their revenue growth. You're doing that right there at GE through your Eco-Imagination program. Immelt is saw the businesses that aren't growing and moving into businesses that are growing right and left. There's a whole set of examples of doing that. Now, to the point on Ford, the problem with Ford was they didn't stick to their guns. They initiated a green program, and it got waylaid, and it got superseded by the SUV program. Had Billy Ford stuck with it, he wouldn't be in such deep trouble today, and he might be sharing the limelight with the likes of Toyota. So green means G squared, we call it. Going green is good for the environment, and it's good for money.
I think both of you gentlemen, and Tom, I'll address you though, would have to make, on a case-by-case basis, can't you see that there would be certain instances where this would be a good thing?
Absolutely.
And also, as far as Jack goes, if you're adding solar panels when it's too early, when it doesn't make sense or something, or if you build a headquarter totally green that ends up costing more and it's just a PR stunt, that could be a bad thing. Don't you have to just look at these on a case-by-case basis?
It's absolutely case-by-case. But look at today's front page of the Wall Street Journal. It's on Citigroup. They're talking about their expenses. Also look at the other side of the ledger, their revenues. They are denying loans because of green pressure not to give loans to the developing world. I mean, that's a decrease in revenue. And they've given up, if you look at their citizenship report, they're now lending 75% of the loans to the developing countries because of some non-financial criteria. Yeah. And that's a bottom line issue.
Jack, I'm sorry. Jack, there must be some cases where the return isn't commensurate with what you're putting out and it's done for PR to look green, right?
Well, there are many companies that promote the fact that they are green. I mean, I remember talking with Ken Lay in the early 90s about his green program, and it became very clear very early on in that discussion that there was no depth or breadth to it, and you can see what happened to them. I don't think that being green just because you're green doesn't mean you're necessarily a good investment. You also have to have a sustainable business model, be well managed, be well financed, and all the other aspects of managing a successful
So
business.
you're willing to concede that point. You're willing to concede that just because you're doing something green doesn't mean it's absolutely bad for business.
No, it's case by case.
Oh, it's case by case.
We also could take a look at Walmart. I mean, Walmart recently came out with some, green light bulb strategy, which is kind of nice. But when you look at Walmart's problems, they're the whipping post for every Democratic politician. By selling light bulbs, it's not going to do anything for the shareholder value.
I look horrible in that light too, Carl.
Really?
Well, haven't you seen those weird?
Worse than in this light?
Worse than in this light.
Oh, man.
That's what I mean. That's fluorescent sort of thing.
No.
I look gray. Anyway, thanks to you both. And that's where I see that going green was a bad thing with them. You're right about that one. All right, Tom. Tom Borelli, shareholder advocate. Jack Robinson, president, portfolio manager of Winslow Management. Thanks to you both.